Training Chair, past District Governor from District 60A, Rita.
Well, thank you, David. We're very lucky to have with us tonight our Zone 31 coordinators. I would like to introduce them to you as they will present. First, we have Jill Petrosinski, our Rotary coordinator, who will speak about growing membership with a focus on comfort and care of your members, assessment tools, and ways to attract new members and also engage your current ones. Next, we will hear from Joan Schaffner, our Zone 31 Rotary Public Image Coordinator, who will show you ways to promote Rotary and how important it is to tell your Rotary story as well as your club story. And last, Pamela Stewart, a Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator, who will speak about the Rotary Foundation as a way to expand our reach and how important it is in our doing our service work in our communities and around the world. Let's start with Jill.
Thank you, Rita. We'll give our tech host a second to get caught up. Perfect. We appreciate the opportunity to get to know all of you a little bit more this evening, and we are so excited to be here to get to know you a little bit more personally before we see you in Jefferson City. So let's start with the Rotary Action Plan and how important it is to work together as a team while you lead your club. And we hope tonight that you'll see a bit of an example of how we work as a team as your Rotary coordinators. The Rotary International Vision Statement that says, together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. The priorities of the action plan are to increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. So how does focusing on our action plan at the club level help your community? Rotary is a membership organization. That means that the unique skills and contribution of our members are the driving force behind everything that we do. And when Rotary's membership is strong, our clubs are thriving. Rotary is more visible, and our members have more resources to help communities. To accomplish everything we want to do, we need our club, our district, and even our zone leaders to commit to growing Rotary and Rotaract. That's why growing our membership is the top internal organizational priority. So today I'm going to share with you a little bit more about the current state of our membership as we started this Rotary year, July of 2022. Rotary Club membership was just over 1.16 million members, and Rotaract Club membership was almost 208,000. Rotary actually saw a net gain of 3,500 Rotary Club members in Rotaract, but we lost over 12,000 in the prior year. So the number of clubs are growing, but the number of members are flat and sometimes declining. We're a membership organization, so our product is community service. Without members, it's hard to do that. So a membership organization's one metric of success is the members. And if you get membership right, the rest is easy. When you hear expand our reach, think about what you think your club can do in the upcoming Rotary year. Maybe you could add 10, 20, maybe even 30 members. And that's something that can be done whether you're a large or a small club. Because by adding new members, you actually engage future leaders, brings in new ideas, new talents, new energy. Knowing the data of where your club is coming from will help you identify the goals and the targets and the opportunities you have in the upcoming year. The simple math is to grow your club, you have to have an attraction rate that exceeds the attrition rate. No matter what you do, you're going to lose members in your club. Some of our members relocate, life gets in the way, they have other priorities, and unfortunately, some of them have health issues or pass away. You can't change that. You should expect that. We have to get more people into the club to overcome those who will lose, even though our club may be wonderful, to grow. So it really is a simple math problem. Increasing our membership is vital, but giving our members a reason to stay is also important. In a typical year globally, we welcome about 150,000 new members into our Rotary clubs. Unfortunately, that revolving door, we lose a similar number each year. And about 10% of our new members actually leave their Rotary club in the same year that they join. Now, members of Rotary clubs and some of our younger members that are members of Rotaract may have a little different priority in the reason for joining and the reason for staying. But generally, they're looking for three specific things: local service, connecting with others, and the professional and leadership development opportunities. Now it makes sense because we are the undisputed pioneers of service leadership, and we're grounded in personal connections. And while this trend is important to understand, the reasons that people choose Rotary, other membership organizations are unique. And we can only meet their expectations if we take the time to ask them, what do you want out of being involved with Rotary? And how will you aspire to change and influence our communities and our world through joining us? What are they looking for? So when we start by asking what a member wants, and then we try to meet their expectations, we show them that we care, that their unique skills matter to us. This is so important because we now know there is a compelling connection between member satisfaction and member retention. Over and over, our surveys find that the comfort and care of our members is the single greatest driver of member satisfaction and our most powerful tool for keeping our members engaged in our clubs. As comfort increased, the probability of having a higher satisfaction with membership increased as well. In fact, a member who's just not comfortable at all with other members is 2 to 4 times more likely to terminate their membership than a member who's extremely comfortable. Well, that makes sense. And that applies not just to our current members, but to anyone and everyone who engages with Rotary. That could be your visitors, it could be your program speakers. So the good news is, to find new members and help develop membership, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of Rotary assessment tools for membership in My Rotary. And you can actually do a club health check and just kind of take a pulse check and see how the current state of your membership is. How do your members feel? Are they satisfied? Now, by a show of hands, and you can use the raise hands on the reaction menu if you want, how many of you have been on the My Rotary Learning Center? Great, I'm seeing a lot of hands go up. There are some wonderful courses that are available, and they've redesigned the Learning Center. If you haven't been on there in a while, it's a little bit easier to navigate. There's a section titled Membership that's available to you as a club leader, and it's also available to your club members, whether they've been there a long time or they're new to Rotary. Now, there are also some tools in My Rotary on how you can connect with potential members and some resources to help it kind of explore some of those new flexible ways you can expand your club. Now, one way is by forming a satellite club. Raise your hand again in the reactions menu if you're familiar with what a satellite club, or maybe your club actually has one. That's wonderful. Quite a few hands have gone up. Now, for those of you who didn't raise your hand, or maybe haven't heard of a satellite club, it's just an extension of your club. It's a group of 8 or more members. They're part of your club, but they meet in an alternative way, maybe a different time than your regular club meeting. Maybe they want to focus on just a specific cause. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, be sure and reach out, because I'll be in Jefferson City with you at least Friday morning, and we've got some more information so we can talk about that, and if that's something that you want to explore to see if it's a good fit for your club. Now, we also know that we lose some members in the first year. So how can you help onboard new members in a way that's meaningful to them? And we encourage not only your current members, but all new members to get a My Rotary account set up right away, just part of your onboarding process. So then they can begin to learn a little bit more of what they're part of. Maybe consider having them take some of the new member courses on the Learning Center. You know, one of the things that a member I sponsored years ago broke my heart when she shared she learned more about Rotary through the Rotary magazine than she did through our club. And it was an important lesson to learn. We need to help them know the world that they're now a part of. And the good news is all of these resources are on the membership page of My Rotary. And a little hint, you don't even have to log into My Rotary to download them all. It's simple. You just go to rotary.org membership. Now, what if Rotary could send people to you? That's exactly what happens through the Membership Leads program. And we recommend in every public-facing material that your club uses to add rotary.org/join. Now, if you want to put your club website or your district website on there as well, that's fine. But if you put rotary.org/join on everything, that's where your leads come from. It drives potential members to the Rotary website. That's always updated, it's current, it's vibrant, truly impactful stories. From there, they can actually enter in their personal information with what interests them. Rotary will actually vet that lead and forward it to your district leaders, your membership chair. Your district membership chair will contact that individual and see what they're looking for. They then forward that lead to your club for follow-up. Now, is anyone on the call in a sales environment at all? Either professionally now or once was? How soon, and you can put this in the chat, how soon should you follow up with a warm lead? Go ahead and put that in chat. Let us know what you think. Okay, Michael says immediately, 24 to 48 hours from Jerry. You're right. We recommend it to reach out to them personally because somebody's already talked to them, remember? So within, if not immediately, no longer than 2 days, because each day we don't reach out, those leads start getting colder. So imagine somebody was excited to meet us. They saw something that excited them. We never followed up after someone promised that we would. So please call them and invite them to something you've got going on. Maybe a service project, could be an upcoming social, or maybe it's one of your meetings. If you're not sure how this works in your district, please reach out to your governor-elect and your district membership chair, and they can share with you how the process works in your district. Now, another way to help you prepare for your upcoming year is the Club Planning Assistant. Now, our tech host is going to put that link in the chat. I encourage you to grab that link and copy it, or you can open up another browser and just leave it hanging out for the rest of the meeting. Because what that is a tool for you to kind of walk through some different things that are going on in your club and what you feel you could benefit from a little extra help. So based on your answers, you'll be provided a customized report with Rotary resources that can help you address those challenges. We invest in these activities and resources at every level because our ultimate aim is to make sure that clubs are using the latest strategies, you have access to the most current tools and resources to meet your membership goals. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to your membership team in the district. You can reach out to us as Rotary coordinators, or you could reach out directly to the membership development at rotary.org. We're all here to help you have a successful year. Now, we can also enhance your membership experience by embracing some of the innovative tools that welcome more diverse participants. It encourages new ideas, new perspectives from the next generation of leaders. And it offers meaningful ways for others to unite with us and take action. Now, that could include developing new and more flexible membership types. Could be maybe an alternative type for a satellite club, just new channels into your club that are more experience-based. Rotary should be everywhere in a style to suit everyone who's interested in joining us. Now, these are just some examples of different models that could be a club-based or a membership type for your club. And new club ideas and new membership ideas can accommodate different demographic groups, maybe offering some different meeting times and formats. And we know from tracking data year over year that our newer clubs have traditionally driven our growth. As many as 88% of charter members of new clubs are first-time Rotarians. So think about the product that your club is offering. And is it open and welcoming to new ideas and new membership types? Because membership growth is only one of the benefits of offering the new types of experiences. You know, when we've asked some of our advocates who help support new membership types and new clubs, they said that starting with new members, it engages existing members, but rising tides raise all ships. So even if there's a new membership type club in your area that offers something different than maybe your club does, it can help your club grow. So be in tune as you see opportunities for things that might help expand your reach within your club and your community. Because when people connect with Rotary, their potential to make a difference grows exponentially. And that's because they're connecting to a diverse network of more than 1.4 million people of action from all over the world who share one common goal of improving people's lives. Now, you may have heard this quote from our current Rotary International President, Jennifer Jones. Imagine a world that deserves our best, where we get up each day knowing that we can make a difference. You don't imagine yesterday, you imagine tomorrow. And together we see a world where people do unite and they take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. So we have a few minutes to answer any questions that you may have about membership before we shift into our next section. And just to kind of reiterate, the bottom line is to grow our clubs, we got to focus on the attraction. So to attract members to our clubs, got to engage them. And our current members need to remain relevant. They need to have a good experience as well for our clubs to be attractive. So kind of thinking through as you prepare to lead your club this next year, how are you going to work with your team? How are you going to plan to attract members to your club? Are you going to have an action plan to make it happen? So I'll be happy to answer a few questions regarding membership and how to attract them. So just raise your hand in the reactions menu, or if you're more comfortable typing it in chat. Amy.
So one of the things that I feel like our club has struggled with, which I think every club has, is trying to recover from COVID. And so when we were Zooming during COVID and a lot of people weren't there, I feel like we've gotten quite a few back, but there's still some people that we've just not been able to get back to the weekly meetings. And what I find is the people then that don't come to the weekly meetings are also the ones that aren't participating in, the community outreach and all of the other great activities that we do. So any words of wisdom of how to try to get those people re-engaged?
Yeah, you're not alone, Amy, with that challenge. I suspect probably a lot of people on the call have the same thing. Part of Rotary is the habit, and we got out of that habit of going to the weekly meetings. A few options are, I guess, a personal call might help to just let them know you care, we miss you, what's going on in your life. People have had a rough time. We've lost loved ones, we've lost businesses in some situations. So I think that little touch goes a long way to find out what's going on, and we'd love to have you back. The other thing to consider, and part of the surveys that we talked about and seeing is your club healthy, is if circumstances have changed and the physical meeting time is no longer a good fit for some of your members, that might be one of those satellite options to consider. If an alternative time, maybe some of them would prefer to still meet virtually, so those are some of the things that you may want to try.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions? Nick?
Yeah, one of the things that, I mean, it's a different strategy, I think, but in our town, we have several clubs to choose from. And so when someone comes in as a new member, I know everybody is rabid about trying to land a new member. It's like, oh, we want to sign them up as soon as possible. And my tactic is, I'm gonna sell them, but I want them to make sure they feel comfortable before we let them join. And we want them to know what's expected of them. So if we join them, and if they come to a service project, well, let them do that first. I'll get them as a member. It doesn't have to be the moment that referral comes in. And so I know a lot of people are oh, we got to get another, it's all about the numbers, and it is about the numbers, but I don't sell as hard as I should because they need to feel that comfort in the club. So we've got a few leads right now, and I'm like, look, and there's several clubs in town. If we have several to choose from, you're invited and welcome at ours all the time, but go see if somebody else is a better fit. I mean, you'll probably come back to ours, but go check them out.
Thanks for sharing that, Nick. And we don't know what they're looking for unless we ask them. So as someone's visiting your club, whether they're through a membership lead, to someone that just stumbled in or a friend invited them, it's always good to ask before we offer. What are they looking for, and how can you direct them to things that are going on in your club or maybe another club that could help fulfill those interests and needs. So thanks for sharing that. Jerry, and then Mickey.
I just did that this evening. I have been checking the leads on the Rotary website, excuse me, and there was a young woman who reached out a couple of days ago. So I sent her an email and said, hey, our club meets right around the corner from you on Wednesday mornings. However, there is a young professionals called the St. Louis Civilians Satellite Club. Told her what day they met, and the same thing about the West St. Louis County Club. And if she finds a club that fits better than ours, fantastic. It's at least another person to help do good in the world.
Thanks, Jerry, for sharing that. And I know a lot of you have other clubs in your area. It's, I think, you know, sometimes we may do it in jest or may be serious. We compete with each other versus helping to support and encourage Rotary with the best fit for that individual. And all clubs win when that happens. So thanks for sharing, Jerry. All right, Nikki, time for a last question.
Okay, this is kind of membership adjacent, but we're trying to run that delicate balance between tradition and progression. And I'm sure that other people probably have the same thing. But you know, I sit there and we're very inclusive. We claim to be very inclusive. And I'm sitting with our visitor from Nepal as we say the Pledge of Allegiance and sing, you know, my country 'tis of thee. And so I thought, that has to be uncomfortable, you know? So, I mean, it's really hard to find that delicate balance that's going to serve all your membership. And I don't know that I have an answer for that.
Yeah, good point, Nikki, and thanks for bringing that up. You know, one of the things your governors elect went through an exercise, they may bring that back to your districts, but to really look honestly at the things that are going on in your club, some of those traditions and habits, and just kind of work through as a group. Is that something that's welcoming? Is that something that's neutral? Or is that something that maybe inadvertently someone could find offensive? And just kind of do a little honest look in the mirror and see if some of those traditions are bringing value, or are they just because we've always done it that way? Maybe, you know, you can, it's tough, you know, it's tough to try new ideas. So sometimes clubs will just get buy-in to let's just try it for a little while. Let's see if it makes a difference without committing. So just some thoughts with that. But thank you so much for the questions, and thank you all for your interest in growing your clubs and membership, because I know you're getting ready to be writing some goals down of what you think you can accomplish. We're here to support you. And let's hear now from our Rotary Public Image Coordinator, Joan Schaffner. And she's going to help you see how to share the stories of the difference that you're making in your community and help your club be more attractive. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Good evening. Okay, so next we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics with Rotary, which is I call the magic of public image. This is about how public image is an integral and an exciting part of your club's membership and fundraising efforts. Okay, so tonight, during our conversations tonight, I want you to keep this in mind. Public image is external. Okay, it's outward facing. It's not, I'm not talking about our internal club and district communications, although good internal communications with your members is very important, but public image is how Rotary is perceived by our communities and the world. When done well, public image will positively impact membership and fundraising. So be sure as you're planning your year that all three areas, all three committees are working together. We all have a common aim in growing Rotary, and there is magic and there's synergy in working together. On that note, we're going to take a moment to watch a brief video from the Rotary Learning Center about Rotary's public image and that synergy between public image, membership, and foundation. This is Sharon Vogelpol from the Rotary Club of Little Rock in District 6150. She is a past Rotary Communications Committee member and past chair of the Branding Committee.
Rotary is the place where members connect with other leaders, exchange ideas, and most importantly, take action to create real change. That's the essence of Rotary, and it should sound familiar to everyone here in this room. This essence statement is the internal lens we use to define and understand ourselves so we can best share what we do with others outside of Rotary. It's the critical foundation for building a really strong brand. Understanding ourselves is the key to growing this organization. Maintaining strong brands is essential for the survival of any corporation or organization, whether it's a new startup or a legacy organization like ours. When we're competing for the hearts and minds of the public, we especially have to embrace the fact that public image, attracting new members, engaging existing ones, and growing our foundation are synergistically intertwined.
Synergistically intertwined, very powerful words to talk about how all three areas work together and how powerful it is to do that. Something to think about. The public's perception of Rotary is important for all of us. Awareness of Rotary is high, but the public's understanding of who we are, what we do, and the value we bring to our communities is low. It's important to tell our story in ways that help people everywhere understand what Rotary does, how we're different, and why our work matters. So when your Rotary Club has a positive public image, current members will be inspired and motivated, and prospective members will be eager to join. I'm going to go back to what Amy's question here just a minute ago. Amy, when you have a great public image in your community, those members who haven't been in a while, they see that happening, they're going to be excited and want to re-engage and get back into their club. So when people understand what we do to make the world a better place, they will be motivated to support our efforts and to get involved. So strengthening Rotary's public image in your community will help you attract members, volunteers, partners, and donors. When you tell stories about how Rotary is making a difference in your community, it inspires interest in prospective members and makes it easier for you to reach your membership and your fundraising goals. So enhancing our public image also helps us stand out from all the other opportunities that people have to donate, to volunteer, and to get involved. Now, one of the ways we enhance our public image is through consistent branding and messaging. It helps us build a strong public image in our communities and around the world. The Rotary logo is universal. It unites us, and our clubs can tap into the strength of this connection. So think about this. No matter where you go in the world, no matter the language that's being spoken, the Rotary logo unites all of us. The more unified our voice, the greater our impact will be. Now, Rotary, like any organization, benefits from having a strong, recognizable brand. When people see our logos in print, online, or on social media, they should immediately recognize them as both representing Rotary and as symbols of an organization that takes action to make the world better. Using the correct logo helps us be recognized for the good work we do and presents Rotary's story consistently. It also helps us protect Rotary's reputation and Rotary's legal rights. Creating and using a logo with your club name that adheres to Rotary's brand guidelines protects our trademarks. Brands that don't use their trademarks or that allow them to be used improperly risk losing the legal protection those trademarks have. Now, you can strengthen Rotary, and not just in your community, but all over the world, by using our logos correctly and consistently. This reinforces to the public who we are and what we do. Now, the Rotary Brand Center is your go-to resource for logos and templates, or reach out to the public image team, your district public image chair. We are all here to help you. Now, consistency doesn't mean that a logo can't evolve. Most long-standing logos have been updated over time. You can see this in the old Rotary logos displayed on this slide. But here's something I want you to think about. If you're using an old logo or using the logo incorrectly, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? And is it beneficial to all concerned? So, and don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands on who's not doing that. We're not going to ask you to answer that out loud, but I think we can all agree that when we don't use the right logos, it's not the truth and it's not beneficial and fair to everyone concerned. It simply just doesn't pass the four-way test. And it's not just the public image team responsibility to strengthen Rotary's brand. It is all of our responsibility. You are in a position of influence, and you can help by being a brand ambassador and by using our logos correctly and consistently. So now, as you know, expanding our reach is a significant part of the Rotary Action Plan. And tonight, we're going to be discussing ways and ideas that we can share our values with new audiences, bring people together to experience the power of Rotary, and demonstrate that we are an organization that's inclusive, engaging, compassionate, and ambitious on behalf of this world. So we're going to take a moment here to stop the slide deck and to talk. And so as the slide says, it's time for talk. It's time for conversation. So using the raise hand function in the chat, I'd like you to briefly tell us, why is telling our story important? Okay, remember, this is a conversation. There's not any bad answers here. So either in the chat or raised hands, why is telling our story important? Right. Who would like to start? It could be, so Stephanie, thank you. If you would unmute yourself.
Hey, good evening, everybody. In my background, I was a communications director. And so of course, being able to continue using one branding strategy across all the lines, all the cities, all the towns, all the countries is wonderful. We want to be able to tell our story. So of course we can increase our numbers, but also be taken seriously when it comes to opportunities for funding, opportunities for service work, things of that nature. But where we're having a little struggle right now in our club is talking about diversification, cultural competency, being able to reach younger members. And so that's one of my questions that I'd like to bring to the group is, how do the other clubs actually encourage younger audiences that want a more vibrant, fluid kind of marketing and branding campaign than what we have currently?
Well, and Stephanie, I think that can go back into telling your story to make sure that your stories are addressing these things that you're talking about.
Yes.
A little bit later in the slide deck, we're going to talk about some different tips with photos and things like that that can really help you with that. But that's where either telling your club story or your own Rotary story, I think, becomes really important.
Okay, thank you.
Right. I thought I saw another raised hand. Was it Charles or? Okay, we've got a few in chat. So like Pam had said that it encourages membership. Dan had talked about how it's a great story. Amy said educate community and others on the great things that Rotary does. From Barry, because it reveals the why and it's personal. Brad, it helps expand our reach and impact. Jim, encourage community to understand the impact of Rotary. Because let's take a moment to go back. We've got a raised hand up from Dan. Dan, if you would please to unmute yourself.
Hi, I belong to a lot of civic and fraternal and social organizations, and every one of them is going through the same thing. How do we get younger members? And the problem I found is that in looking for that answer, we're using things that would attract people our age, and I'm 63. We're not willing to, if we want to attract, let's say, millennials, we have to find out what their hot buttons are, not trying to just continue our generation's hot buttons. And I think that's the problem I've seen across all these organizations is while they're looking for younger members, they're not using things that attract younger members.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Just a couple more from the chat. From Jim, telling our story is important because it encourages community to understand the impact of Rotary. From Tracy, we can use our longevity and history in our communities as a ways to automatically vet ourselves to new members in fundraising efforts. We've got top of mind awareness from Michael. And then from Charles, we've done an enormous amount in our community that needs to be communicated to the local population. So all good reasons why telling our story is incredibly important. So let's go ahead and move on. We're going to bring the slide deck back up. Expanding our reach through storytelling. So we just talked about why telling our story is important. Our clubs do so many amazing projects and events within our communities. However, sometimes we can't seem to comprehend that not everyone understands what we are doing or what we mean. So here are some simple storytelling tips to make your projects or your events reach out to your communities and make non-Rotarians get excited about your club and Rotary. Okay, so this is where photos can be really important. Start with a great photo of people having fun, doing a project or participating in an event. You want to show action, make sure they are doing work, they're in motion. not just standing in a line and smiling or a big check presentation. Because remember, as Rotarians, we are people of action. Make your story short and to the point. We want people to be inspired with what they see in the great photo and not just have a 4-page description of this project. You want to inspire people through your story, through your picture, to have a motivating and memorable headline. You know, who knows, you may even re-engage some of your current Rotarians as well as attracting new ones. And you also want to create that sense of emotion. Now, as Jill said earlier, you always want to include Rotary.org or Rotary.org/join in your story. This leads non-Rotarians to the Rotary website where we have Rotary leads and other exciting things about what Rotary does. Now, one of the things that kind of thinking outside the Rotary box here, one way that we can expand our reach with new audiences is to nominate your club, your district, or Rotarian for a non-Rotary award. Now, I think we're all really good at nominating each other for Rotary awards, but not as much for non-Rotary awards. There is a lot of opportunity in this area for us to leverage. Rotarians are people of action, and our members in our clubs are great candidates for these awards. These opportunities can demonstrate that we are an organization that's inclusive, engaging, compassionate, and ambitious on behalf of the world. So the example that you are seeing here, this is from the AFP, which is the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Now, AFP has chapters all over the United States, and each chapter presents philanthropy awards in November in celebration of National Philanthropy Day. This is a picture here of the president and 2 past presidents of the Rotary Club of Conway in District 61-7. And take note here that we're showing women, we're showing younger professionals. You want to show the diversity in your photos as much as you possibly can. So this club, this is my club, we were a finalist for the AFP Arkansas Outstanding Volunteer Organization Award in 2021, and we won just this past November in 2022. This is a statewide award. Both years, the club was recognized at the annual Philanthropy Day banquet and in the November issue of the statewide magazine Inviting Arkansas. This one nomination that I made for Rotary put Rotary in front of tens of thousands of people. And as a result, the club has inducted several new members and re-engaged existing members. There are also, besides AFP, there's several other organizations that you can consider for this. Remember, we're trying to expand our reach and share Rotary with new audiences. So I want you to think outside that Rotary box. Now, alumni awards. What school did you or another club leader graduate from? Okay, so I work in university advancement at the University of Central Arkansas. Our office is charged with fundraising, marketing, and engaging our alumni with the university. We are always looking for alumni news and stories. Most colleges and universities, and high schools for that matter, publish class notes and news in their alumni publications. So submit a class note to your alma mater regarding your appointment as club president, okay? Or think about that for some of your other club leaders. Other areas that you can think about is halls of fame, a hall of fame. So it could be a business hall of fame or sports hall of fame or another area. Do you have a member in your club who would qualify for one of those awards? Again, going back to my club, we had a gentleman who was inducted into the UCA Sports Hall of Fame, and he, at the podium during his acceptance speech, talked about Rotary, put us in front of several hundred people that maybe had not been exposed to Rotary before. You've also got governmental awards. Most cities and states have awards to recognize outstanding community organizations and leaders. There's even several at the national level. Industry specific or corporate awards. So it might be Nurse of the Year or CFO of the Year. You know, a lot of the different industries have these magazines and publications that they're looking for stories for. Your Chamber of Commerce awards. Examples here might be an outstanding business executive, outstanding new business, or a volunteer leader. News publications awards. So here in Arkansas, we have Arkansas Business does 40 under 40. We've got top 100 influencers. So in Missouri, think about the same thing. What are those opportunities that you have where you can nominate your club leaders or your Rotarians or your club itself? You've got volunteer and service awards. And then I do know in Missouri, specifically through the Missouri Community Service Commission, you have Show Me Service Awards. So again, think about your Rotarians, think about your clubs that you could nominate for these awards. And I encourage you to research and brainstorm ideas for your area and to select 1 or 2 club leaders that you could nominate. You don't have to do all these, just focus on 1 or 2. And I would strongly encourage you to put someone on your public image committee who can focus on this area. So next, we're going to talk about also getting Rotary in front of new audiences through some of your community organizations. Particularly think about your local chamber of commerce. If your club is not already a member of your local chamber, I encourage you to consider joining. Chambers of commerce are filled with other business and service-minded leaders, and they're the perfect prospects for Rotary. You could look into setting up Rotary booths at business expos, at job fairs. Again, all good places to introduce Rotary to new audiences and to grow membership. Promote your service projects, offer a voucher to attend a meeting and more. And you could even collaborate with other area clubs to share cost. Also think about sponsorship opportunities for your club, just like you would for a business. You could offer scholarships for local students to attend and then attend a school's award night to present it. Look for opportunities or ways to participate in your community festivals, events, and local parades. Now, this picture is from this year's Rose Bowl parade, which is obviously a huge public image opportunity for Rotary International, but it doesn't have to be something as big as this. Think about your local opportunities. Perhaps you have a county fair or a holiday parade that your Rotary club that could participate in. And think about your local sports team. Could your club sponsor a local youth sports program? Because as you can imagine, there are a lot of parents who attend these games. You can think about getting Rotary in front of them. But whatever you choose to do, remember to use correct branding and messaging, because that's what's going to unify all of us. Another thought is a Rotary Day at the ballpark. This is a fun way to get Rotary in front of thousands of new people. And it's not just limited to baseball like you see here. Think about other sports as well. And it doesn't have to be a professional sports team either. It could be your local college or even a high school team. Rotary Day at the Capitol is another public image opportunity. We've done 2 of these in Arkansas. All 3 districts here in Arkansas came together and were represented. We set up Rotary information tables in the Capitol Rotunda while the legislation was in session and highlighted service projects, membership, fundraising opportunities throughout the district. Our last one we did, Barry Rassin was the international president at the time, and he accepted proclamations from both the governor and in both chambers of the legislature in recognition of Rotary. There was no cost to do this. It just took planning and coordination for us to do this. So these are some new ideas for you to be thinking about. Now, as you build your public image team, remember, you do not have to do public image by yourself. It's not a one-person job. And if you don't have a public image team, build one. Find people with different skill sets. Make sure your public image committee is collaborating with membership and foundation. Because again, there's magic in public image when you all work together as a team. Now, we're going to just kind of walk through a quick checklist. Like Jill had talked about a club health check. This is a really good thing to think about as you're coming into your year. So just a public image checklist. Do you have a public image committee? If not, create one. Is your club using the correct logo and branding? You should always use the Rotary logo in conjunction with your club name. You can create one very easily in the brand center. And just remember, the old blue and gold wheel is now 10 years old. We introduced the new logo in 2013. So if your club is still using the old logo, please consider replacing it with the current mark. Now, using the mark of excellence for your profile picture on social media accounts. For those external facing social media accounts, Rotary recommends that we use the mark of excellence, which is the gold wheel only, for profile pictures. Not the theme logo or even your club logo in this instance. That mark of excellence fits in the space well, and it is consistent and easily recognizable as Rotary to the general public. Also think about the current theme logo when you're using those primarily for your internal communications. Are you using the right one? If you have that on your website or in other materials, make sure come July that you update the theme logo from Imagine Rotary to Create Hope in the World. And are you using the People of Action logos and overlays? Are your photos current and engaging and inclusive? Do you have a representation of everyone in your community in it? And does it reflect your current activity? Something else to think about for public image checklists is who has access and passwords to your social media pages and your website. Do you have more than one admin? And think about what is your succession plan to ensure your club does not lose access to these accounts. We strongly encourage there to be at least 2 or 3 people who have access and who know the current login and password information. You do not want your club to get locked out of your accounts in the event of an accident or some other incident. Also consider using a generic email account. It could be showmerotary@gmail.com, that can be passed on to successors. So if you don't already have one for your club, think about that as well. And that could be used as the login for a lot of these different accounts. Then also look at your meeting dates, your times and locations. Are they current? If they're not, outdated information reflects poorly on your club and it projects a negative public image to your community, which is not what we want, okay? So to start wrapping it up, know that there are multiple public image resources available for you and your team. The Brand Center and the Learning Center are great places to start. The Brand Center has everything you need to create brand compliant logos, as well as print, digital, radio, and video materials. There is a wealth of information there. The Learning Center has several top-notch sessions on public image. And additionally, there are multiple public image resources on the Zones 3031 website, and I encourage you to take a look around. Your district public image chair is here to help you as well. You do not have to be an expert at public image, but it is really important for you to understand the importance of public image and how it also influences membership and fundraising. So last, let me introduce you to the Zone 31 public image team. My assistant coordinators are Jamie Higgins, Taylor Hughes, and Wally Bloss. The districts we cover are listed underneath our names. Our names and contact information are actually on the Zone website too, so you could email us. Assistant coordinator Wally Bloss will be at Show Me Pets. He will be in Jeff City and he'll have a table in the House of Friendship. I will be there along with Jill some on Friday, but if you've got any questions, you can see me or you can go by the House of Friendship and you can talk to Wally. So I encourage you to stop by and visit with him. Okay, at this point, we have just a few minutes for questions regarding public image. I see a question about a copy of the slide deck. I'm going to defer to Rita on that. They do have the slides. I assume those will be sent out. It's and made available to everybody. Okay, so if you have any questions, either you can put it in the chat or do raised hands. If you want to make a comment about something or an idea, maybe perhaps your club has done that you'd like to share with others to promote a positive public image. So Valerie?
I have a question about the Facebook profile. Is there a way to do a banner? I've seen some that have got, circles around their profile pictures and saying, I did something, but is there a Rotary one that we could circle around our picture?
I have seen some. I've not made those myself, but I have seen some of those, particularly around like World Polio Day and stuff like that, where you can add that around that.
Okay. Is that on the Brand Center also?
I'm to be honest with you, that's the first time I've been asked that, and I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
But we can certainly look in the Brand Center to see. But I know typically, definitely around World Polio Day and things like that, yes, that those are out there.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So hopefully you guys have gotten a lot of new ideas from that. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? Okay, well, good. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, the District Public Image Chair, Wally, whoever you need. We are here to help. Okay. Okay, we've got one more for Charles, and then we'll move on to Pamela and the foundation.
How do we access these slides?
I believe they're going to be sending the slide deck out. So Rita, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that that's going to happen. And if
we will probably be putting it on the website, the Show Me Rotary website.
Thank
It should
you.
get, I plan to post it on Saturday morning.
Okay.
Great job.
Right.
Bye,
you.
everyone. Thank you so much.
All right. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Pamela, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the foundation.
Okay, thank you, Joan. And I'm Pamela Stewart, your Zone 31 Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator. You've heard from Jill about enhancing our membership engagement and increasing our ability to adapt, and from Jill and Joan about expanding our reach. The Rotary Foundation provides us the means to increase our impact. It's a primary source of funding for Rotary's humanitarian activities, from clubs and districts' local service projects to global initiatives. It also leads Rotary's ongoing effort to eradicate polio worldwide. Our foundation is a not-for-profit organization which is able to achieve its mission through the generous contributions and active participation of Rotarians and friends of Rotary. When we contribute to the Rotary Foundation, we have an opportunity to designate how those funds will be used. We can designate gifts to the annual fund, which helps us to support life-changing projects in our local and global communities, to our Polio Plus Fund to fund the eradication of polio, to our endowment fund, which helps us to provide for life-changing projects in the future, or to other more specific focused funding, such as the Rotary Disaster Response Fund, which we've recently seen set up for Pakistan and Ukraine, as well as for a global grant. When you give money to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund Share Program, in 3 years, 47.5% of this comes back to your district for grants. This is what we call District Designated Funds, or DDF. Your district can allocate up to 50% of these funds for district grants and the remaining 50% for global grants. 5% of all donations are needed for operating expenses. The remaining 47.5% of contributions, which goes to the World Fund, can be used to match 80% of those district designated funds used for our global grants, or to match up to 50% of that district designated fund that can be used for Polio Plus donations. So you can have a situation where up to 80–90% of your donations can come back and be used for global grants in your district or supported by your district. This is why it's so important to continue to grow our contributions each year beyond that of the prior year. While your district may make donations of its district designated funds to Polio Plus, it is extremely important that we have cash contributions as well to fund our End Polio Now campaign. Rotary International's effort to eradicate polio began in 1979 with a multi-year 3H grant to immunize 6 million children in the Philippines. Take pride in what Rotary has done. Rotary members have contributed more than $2.1 billion and countless volunteer hours to protect 3 billion children in 122 countries. And polio is now only endemic in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Rotary's commitment and efforts to eradicate polio have encouraged others to join us, like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has an ongoing commitment to match our financial support for Polio Plus 2-to-1. This means contributions to Rotary's Polio Plus program will have 3 times the impact. But we have said and continue to say polio is only a plane ride away. And in 2022, we saw new cases in Malawi, London, New York, Israel, and other formerly polio-free safe havens. So we ask each Rotarian to set a personal goal to give at least $30 each year to Polio Plus until the job is done. We've talked about the annual fund and its funding of grants, and about Polio Plus and its funding to eradicate polio. The third fund, the endowment fund, is almost a well-kept secret. Yet it allows us to support life-changing projects into the future and to create a legacy of doing good in the world. You can receive special recognition for your legacy by notifying the foundation of your commitment by completing a Your Rotary Legacy notification form or submitting notification online at rotary.org/legacy. When you make a promise of a future commitment to the endowment or an outright gift of $1,000 to the endowment, you will be recognized as a benefactor. Clubs that have 100% member support of the endowment may also be recognized as Rotary Promise Clubs. As you can see on the slide, gifts made during your lifetime count toward major donor and Arch Clump Society recognition. Additionally, the trustees are pleased to confer membership to the Bequest Society for anyone who tells the Rotary Foundation they have left a legacy of $10,000 or more. Members of this group of dedicated humanitarians receive special foundation updates, invitations to events, and an exclusive pin or pendant. Rotarians who invest in the Rotary Foundation's future retain their membership regardless of fluctuations in their financial portfolio or other assets. We also have a special recognition for individuals and couples who substantiate a future gift to the foundation of $1 million or more. The Rotary Endowment ensures that future Rotary members will have the resources they need to design and implement sustainable projects year after year. The principle of gifts to the endowment is never spent. Spendable earnings generated on the principal are directed annually to the foundation grants and programs. Gifts to the endowment support the same programs that the annual fund supports, but in perpetuity. Contributions can be made to the endowment in the form of outright gifts of cash, investments, or property, life income gifts, testamentary gifts through wills or estate plans, or by making the Rotary Foundation a beneficiary of life insurance, retirement plan accounts, or other financial accounts. Our goal is to build our endowment to 2025 by 2025. So $2.025 billion by 2025. While the Rotary Foundation is touching people's lives every minute of every day, and the sun never sets on the work of the foundation, it is important to know that in recognition of its efficiency, transparency, good governance, and impact, Charity Navigator, the largest independent evaluator of U.S.-based charities, awarded the Rotary Foundation another 4-star rating this year. A 4-star rating is the best rating a charity can receive. This is the 14th consecutive year the Rotary Foundation has received this designation, placing it among the top 1% of charities evaluated by Charity Navigator. The designation sets our foundation apart from its peers, demonstrating to our members and the public of its trustworthiness. We've talked about how we can designate our gifts to the Rotary Foundation and how those gifts can be used. There are also many opportunities for individual recognition, such as the Rotary Foundation Sustaining Member, Paul Harris Fellow, and Paul Harris Society Member. Let's take a minute or two for you to enter your name in the chat if you have one or more of these recognitions. Thank you. There are also naming opportunities which will allow you to create an endowment or a directed gift in your name or the name of a loved one. Oh, it's great to see so many names. Thank you for your commitment to our foundation. Just as there are individual recognitions, there are club recognitions for those clubs which create a culture of giving and support for the Rotary Foundation, including 100% Paul Harris Fellow Clubs, 100% Paul Harris Society Clubs, and 100% Rotary Promise Clubs. As Rotarians, we are guided by service above self. And while we may benefit through recognitions, the greatest incentive from and through our Rotary Foundation is the ability to do good in the world, to provide for local and global needs. Our gifts help fund programs from Polio Plus to disaster response grants, like those for Ukraine and Pakistan, to Rotary Peace Centers, and to 3 types of grants. You will remember that our annual fund share gifts come back to our districts in the form of district designated fund. One use of these funds is for the district grants, which are smaller, short-term projects, usually in our local communities. But although some districts do use these funds to do smaller, short-term international projects. These projects most likely involve your members and help keep them active and engaged. Service helps to enhance your members' engagement in Rotary. These projects are also often seen in your local communities as the face of Rotary. It is so important that you share the things you are doing and tell the stories through traditional and social media means, and seek to build the public image of your club and Rotary. These projects yield engaging stories, which in turn yield you new service partners and new members. This in turn helps us to not only increase our impact, but also to expand our reach. Here we see the Rotary Action Plan come to life, and we see how foundation, public image, and membership are interconnected and supportive of each other. In addition to district grants, our district designated funds are available for global grants. Global grants are by nature longer term, larger grants, and as such have additional requirements set by the Rotary Foundation to ensure that the projects are sustainable with measurable and lasting outcomes, and that the grant funds are managed responsibly. A global grant must also meet an important need of the community within one of Rotary's 7 areas of focus, and help improve the community's capacity to address its own needs. Global grants can also help to engage your membership and grow new members and new partners. So please remember the importance of sharing the stories. Our global grants must have a sustainable impact. And here we have 6 steps to sustainability. Start with the community to identify a need and develop a solution that builds on community strengths and aligns with local values and culture. This means we start with a community assessment. Ask the community what they need rather than deciding what you think you would like to do. You may want to provide school uniforms, but the community may have a greater need for clean water or for trained teachers and books. Identify key community members to assess their needs and become partners committed to the project, and maybe even create new jobs or sell goods and services. Provide training and education so that the community knows how to take over a project when the grant funding is gone. Buy local, getting at least 3 bids, and make sure spare parts will be available locally. Get local funding through governments, hospitals, companies, and other organizations, and develop a clear, measurable project outcome and engage the community in collecting data and evaluating those outcomes. Our 7 areas of focus provide the ability to better meet the needs of our local and global communities, as well as to engage members and future members through individual passions for service. Even if you have a particular passion to serve a community, don't presume you know what the community needs. Choose a group of diverse participants. gender, age, ethnicity, religion, income levels, and vocations include women, young, elderly, religious, and ethnic minorities. Speak with your participants, speaking with them, not at them. And remember, don't overpromise. Your club may not vote for the project you think they will. While community needs assessments are required for global grants, it is wise to use them for district grants and for club projects to make sure you are having the greatest impact for good. For those of you who have worked on grants or are considering requesting grant funding, you will need to make certain that your club and district meet qualifications for grant funding annually and provide proper documentation and oversight to ensure funds are safeguarded. And now we have a new tool in our arsenal to do good in the world. Rotary's Programs of Scale builds on the scope, impact, and sustainability of successful Rotary service projects in our areas of focus by supporting larger and longer-term undertakings. Programs of Scale empowers Rotary members to work with experienced partners to implement large-scale, high-impact programs that benefit many people. The Rotary Foundation awards one $2 million Programs of Scale grant each year to a program sponsored by a qualified club or district that is working in strong collaboration with partner organizations. Each grant helps a program scale up or expand over a 3 to 5 year period to create lasting change. So how can you give, and how can you encourage others to give? Contributions to the Rotary Foundation may be made by credit card at rotary.org/donate. You can also give by check or wire transfer or through your club using the Rotary Foundation contribution form available at My Rotary. Club officers who sign into My Rotary can make online gifts for their club or its members. And with all gifts, be sure to include your member ID to ensure that you get proper credit and recognition. You can support the Rotary Foundation year-round by making a recurring gift with Rotary Direct. You choose how much and how often to give. It's a simple, secure way to make a big impact. Also, your donors can change or cancel their recurring giving online at any time through My Rotary. You may also be able to double the impact of your gift by asking your employer to match your contribution to the Rotary Foundation. More than 15,000 companies match gifts to the foundation worldwide. You can find out if your employer does at rotary.org/matching gifts. If you wish to honor or memorialize someone with a contribution to the Rotary Foundation, you can do that as well by going to rotary.org/donate. Click the area that you wish to support, and then select, I would like to make this donation in honor or in memory of someone. Donors will receive gift credit and a tax receipt. The person that they honor or the family, in case of memorials, will be notified of the gifts by email. Also, we have the new Raise for Rotary, which is a platform that allows individuals and teams to create online fundraisers that benefit the Rotary Foundation. This is a great way to celebrate personal events and special occasions. Organizers can share their fundraisers through social media, email, and text, so family, friends, colleagues, and supporters can donate online. You can also raise funds for the Rotary Foundation using Facebook. Simply select either Rotary International, which supports the World Fund, or In Polio Now to support polio eradication as your nonprofit, and share it with your friends. Donations made through Facebook, as with other non-Rotary platforms, are combined and cannot be credited individually by the Rotary Foundation. If you'd prefer to have your contributions recorded, remember, donate directly to the Rotary Foundation. Your Zone 31's foundation team is here to help. our Zones 30 and 31 Rotarians and Rotaractors, and the Rotary Foundation, and to encourage you to always share your grant successes and project ideas, and to tell your stories. Paul Reiner, Ted Huffhines, and I will be joining you in Jefferson City, and hope you will have the opportunity to meet more of our team. We have a few minutes for questions. If you'd like to ask a question using the raise hand function, or enter a question in the chat. Looks like we've got a lot of chat. I think that we had a lot of individuals who have shared a tremendous commitment to the Rotary Foundation. Do we have any questions? Okay. No, I'm not seeing any hands. Apparently I answered all the questions tonight. I feel really good, guys. We encourage you to have your club. Oh, thanks, Joan. We encourage you to have your club chairs and leaders to work together to formulate plans on a healthy collaborative effort, which engages membership growth and foundation giving and public image to increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt and to embrace our vision. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. You will see us and members of our teams together in Jefferson City at our table in the House of Friendship and presenting together at the luncheon on Friday. We hope that you will join us and embrace the concept that public image, attracting new members, engaging existing members, and growing our foundation are synergistically intertwined. Thank you for joining us tonight. Rita?
Wow, just wow. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Jill, and thank you so much to Joan. Wow, wow, wow. First, I'd like to thank the presidents-elect and the president's nominee for taking this time tonight to be here and to hear all this amazing information that they've shared with us. Secondly, I want to thank our tech hosts, Julie McCoy and David McCoy, for keeping us actually moving through the presentations. And lastly, I want to thank our Zone 31 coordinator team, Jill Petrosinski, Joan Schaffner, and Pam Stewart, for joining us and showing us how they work together to help districts and therefore clubs to live the Rotary Action Plan. They have shared tools that you as your club's president will need to be the most effective in your leadership role. We hope what you have heard tonight will help you succeed in your year as club president. So our main event, what's next? Pets will begin on the evening of Thursday, March the 23rd, and end at 2 p.m. on Saturday, March the 25th at the Capitol Plaza Hotel in Jefferson City. We have a couple of days lined up for you that you'll enjoy new friendships, great speakers, and some fun while receiving some training during this two-day event. If you've not already done so, be sure to sign up and make your hotel reservations on showmerotary.org. One last thing, there is an evaluation link that the tech host is putting in the chat. Please click on it and it will open in a separate browser or screen. When that opens, then you may close your Zoom screen and fill out the survey. We definitely would appreciate your feedback. And again, thanks coordinators for coming and sharing your information with us tonight. Thank you all for attending and good night. Hey,
everyone.
good job, girls.
Do you want to
Well
stop?
done.
Did I accidentally kick Jimmy out of the meeting? Or did he
No, he
get,
might have left. I don't know. Can you
You're
stop the
still
recording?
recording. You may want to stop that.